The key was cold in Michael's hand when the lawyer placed it there. He stared at it. A small brass key on a wooden keychain shaped like a heart. His grandmother had carried this key for 50 years. "The house is yours now," the lawyer said. She left specific instructions. "No one else. Just you." Michael didn't say anything. He couldn't. Because 3 weeks ago, his wife Sarah had walked out of their marriage. Packed her things while he was at work. Left a note on the kitchen counter that said she couldn't do this anymore. Couldn't be married to a man who was there, but not really there. And now his grandmother was gone too. Before we continue, if this is your first time watching one of our videos, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us bring you even more powerful stories. The lawyer slid papers across the desk. Michael signed them without reading. His hand moved, but his mind was somewhere else. Somewhere between the empty house he'd left that morning and the memory of his grandmother's smile. "Mr. Chun," the lawyer said. "Are you all right?" Michael looked up. "I'm fine." But he wasn't fine. He hadn't been fine in a long time. The drive to his grandmother's house took 40 minutes. Michael had made this drive 100 times as a kid. His parents would drop him off every summer, and he'd spend weeks running through the fields behind the house, helping his grandmother in the garden, listening to her stories on the front porch. That was before the army. Before Afghanistan. Before he came back different. The house looked smaller than he remembered. White paint peeling in places. The porch sagging slightly on one side. But the garden was still there. Overgrown now, but he could see the shapes of what it used to be. Michael sat in his truck for a long time. Just looking. His phone buzzed. A text from his daughter Emma. She was 15. "Dad, are you okay? Mom said you went to see a lawyer." He texted back, "I'm fine, sweetheart. Just some paperwork for Grandma Lily's estate." 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. "Can I come stay with you this weekend?" Michael's throat tightened. Emma had been so quiet since the separation. His son David, who was 12, had stopped talking to him almost completely. "Of course. I'd love that." He put the phone away and got out of the truck. The key turned smoothly in the lock. The door opened with a soft creak. Inside, everything was exactly as he remembered. The old couch with the flower pattern. The wooden rocking chair by the window. The smell of lavender and old books. Michael stepped inside and closed the door behind him. On the small table by the entrance, there was an envelope with his name on it. His grandmother's handwriting. Shaky but clear. He picked it up. His hands were trembling. "My dearest Michael, if you're reading this, I'm with your grandfather now. Don't be sad, sweetheart. I've had a long, beautiful life. I'm leaving you this house because I think you need it. I think you need a place to remember who you are. Before the war. Before you forgot how to let people love you. There's something else too. But you'll have to find it. I hid it in the place where you always found the best treasures when you were little. Live here for a while, Michael. Fix what's broken. Not just in the house. Love always. Grandma Lily." Michael read the letter 3 times. Then he folded it carefully and put it in his pocket. He walked through the house slowly. The kitchen with the old stove. The dining room where they'd eaten Sunday dinners. The stairs that creaked on the 3rd step. His old bedroom was on the 2nd floor. The bed was made. The walls still had the posters he'd put up when he was 13. Michael sat on the bed. He put his face in his hands. And for the first time since Sarah left, he cried. The next morning, Michael woke to the sound of someone knocking on the front door. He'd slept in his clothes. His mouth tasted like regret and old coffee. The sun was already up, streaming through the bedroom window. The knocking came again. Persistent but polite. Michael went downstairs and opened the door. A woman stood on the porch. She was maybe his age, maybe a little younger. Dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. Kind eyes. She wore jeans and a simple blue shirt, and she was holding a casserole dish. "Hi," she said. "I'm sorry to bother you so early. I'm Grace. I live next door." Michael blinked. He tried to remember if his grandmother had ever mentioned a neighbor named Grace. He couldn't. "Michael," he said. "Michael Chun." "I know," Grace said gently. "Your grandmother talked about you all the time. I'm so sorry for your loss. She was special. There was something in the way she said it. Real sadness. Not the polite kind people say at funerals." "Did you know her well?" Michael asked. "Very well," Grace said. "We had tea together every Thursday for the last 5 years." She held out the casserole dish. "I made this for you. I thought you might not feel like cooking." Michael took the dish. It was still warm. "Thank you. That's really kind." Grace smiled. It was a soft smile. the kind that reached her eyes. If you need anything, I'm right next door. The white house with the blue shutters. I'll remember, Michael said. She turned to go, then stopped. Your grandmother told me you were coming. She said you'd need time, and that I should give you space. But she also said I should check on you anyway. Michael almost smiled. That sounded exactly like his grandmother. I'm okay, he said. Grace looked at him for a moment. Really looked at him. And Michael had the uncomfortable feeling that she could see right through him. No one's okay all the time, she said quietly. But that's all right. You don't have to be. Then she walked down the porch steps and across the lawn to her house. Michael stood there holding the casserole dish, watching her go. That afternoon, Michael started cleaning the house. It was something to do. Something that didn't require thinking. He found boxes of old photographs in the hall closet. Pictures of his grandmother as a young woman. His grandfather in his Navy uniform. Michael's own parents, young and smiling, before they'd gotten tired of each other. And pictures of himself. As a baby. As a little boy with scraped knees and a gap-toothed grin. As a teenager, awkward and serious. There was one photo he kept coming back to. He was maybe 10 years old, sitting on the back porch steps with his grandmother. Her arm was around him, and they were both laughing at something. He couldn't remember what, but he remembered the feeling. Safe. Loved. Home. When was the last time he'd felt that way? His phone rang. Sarah's name on the screen. Michael stared at it. Let it ring 3 times before he answered. Hello. Michael. Her voice was careful. Distant. Emma said she's staying with you this weekend. That's right. A pause. Where are you staying? You're not still in the apartment, are you? I'm at my grandmother's house. I inherited it. Another pause. Longer this time. Oh, I didn't know she'd. I'm sorry, Michael. I know you were close to her. Yeah. Listen about Emma. I just want to make sure that the place is appropriate. That you're in a good headspace. Something hot and angry flared in Michael's chest. I'm her father, Sarah. I know that. You left me. You don't get to question whether I'm good enough for my own daughter. Silence on the other end of the line. That's not what I meant, Sarah said finally. Her voice was tight. I'm just trying to make sure she's safe. She's always safe with me. Are you sure about that, Michael? Because you haven't exactly been present for the last few years. The words hit him like a punch. Because they were true. I'm working on it, he said quietly. I hope so. For their sake. She hung up. Michael stood there holding the phone, staring at nothing. Then he went back to the photographs. That evening, Grace knocked on the door again. Michael opened it, and she was holding a bag of groceries. I'm not trying to intrude, she said quickly. But I noticed you don't have a car full of supplies, and the nearest grocery store is 20 minutes away. I was going anyway, so I picked up some basics. Milk, eggs, bread. That kind of thing. Michael looked at the bag. Then at her. You didn't have to do that. I know. But your grandmother would have done the same for me. Actually, she did. Many times. She handed him the bag. Their fingers brushed for just a second. How much do I owe you? Michael asked. Nothing. It's a gift. Grace. It's fine, really. She smiled. Consider it a welcome to the neighborhood present. Even though you're not new to the neighborhood. Michael didn't know what to say. He wasn't used to people being kind without wanting something in return. Thank you, he managed. Grace nodded. Then she hesitated. Can I ask you something? Sure. Are you planning to stay here? In the house, I mean. Or are you going to sell it? Michael hadn't really thought about it. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. Your grandmother hoped you'd stay, Grace said softly. She thought it would be good for you. The quiet. The space. She talked to you about that? She talked to me about a lot of things. Grace looked down at her hands. She was worried about you. She said you'd been through something difficult. That you'd lost your way a little. Michael felt exposed. Vulnerable. She shouldn't have told you that. She loved you. She was just scared you'd forget that you're allowed to be happy. The words hung in the air between them. I should go, Grace said. But if you need anything at all, I'm right next door. You keep saying that. Because I mean it. She walked away and Michael closed the door. He stood there in the hallway, holding the bag of groceries. And for some reason, he felt less alone than he had in months. Friday afternoon, Emma arrived. Michael heard the car pull up. His ex-wife's car. He went out to the porch and watched as Emma got out, carrying a backpack. She looked so much older than she had just a few weeks ago. Or maybe Michael was just seeing her clearly for the first time in a while. Sarah stayed in the car. She gave Michael a small wave. He waved back. Emma walked up the porch steps. Hey, Dad. Hey, sweetheart. She hugged him, and Michael held on maybe a little too long. When she pulled back, she was looking at the house with wide eyes. This is where you used to come in the summer? The place you always talked about. Yeah, this is it. It's beautiful. It needs work. But yeah, it is. They went inside and Michael showed her around. Emma touched everything gently. The walls. The furniture. The photographs. Is this you? She asked, holding up the picture of Michael and his grandmother on the porch steps. That's me. You look so happy. Michael didn't know what to say to that. Emma put the photo down carefully. Dad, are you okay? Really? I'm getting there. She looked at him with those eyes that were too old for 15. Mom said you were having a hard time. Your mom and I are working through some things. She said you've been distant, that you don't talk anymore. Michael sat down on the couch. Emma sat next to him. I haven't been the best husband, he said slowly. Or the best father. I know that. And I'm sorry. It's not just your fault, Emma said. Mom's not perfect either. Maybe not. But I shut down. After I came back from Afghanistan, I stopped letting people in. Because of what happened there. Michael nodded. Yeah, because of what happened there. Emma was quiet for a moment. Then she leaned her head on his shoulder. You're still my dad. No matter what. Michael's eyes burned. I love you, Em. I love you too. That night, they made dinner together in the old kitchen. Nothing fancy. Just spaghetti and salad. But it felt good. Normal. Like something they used to do before everything fell apart. After dinner, they sat on the back porch and watched the sun go down. Grandma Lily left me a letter, Michael said. She said she hid something in the house. Something I need to find. What is it? I don't know. But she said it's in the place where I always found the best treasures when I was little. Emma sat up straighter. A treasure hunt? I guess so. Do you know where to look? Michael thought about it. Where had he found treasures as a kid? He remembered the attic. The basement. The old shed-out back. But none of those felt right. Then it hit him. The garden, he said. I used to dig around in the garden and find things. Smooth stones. Bottle caps. Once I found an old coin. Let's look tomorrow, Emma said. In the daylight. Okay. Yeah, tomorrow. They sat there in comfortable silence. The crickets were starting to sing. The air smelled like grass and earth and summer. I like it here, Emma said quietly. It feels peaceful. It does. Do you think you'll stay? I don't know yet. I think you should. She looked at him. I think it's good for you. You seem different here. Less heavy. Michael didn't know if that was true, but he wanted it to be. Saturday morning, they went out to the garden. It was overgrown. Weeds everywhere. But underneath, Michael could still see the structure. The raised beds. The stone pathways. The small fountain in the center that his grandfather had built. Where do we start? Emma asked. The fountain, Michael said. That was always my favorite spot. They walked to the center of the garden. The fountain was dry now. Leaves and dirt had collected in the basin. Michael started clearing it out. Emma helped. They worked in silence, and it felt good. Working together. Doing something with their hands. At the bottom of the fountain, under a layer of wet leaves, Michael's fingers touched something hard. Not stone. Something else. He pulled it out. A metal box. About the size of a shoebox. Rusted in places but still solid. Is that it? Emma whispered. I think so. Michael lifted it out carefully. There was no lock. Just a simple clasp. He opened it. Inside were letters. Dozens of them. Tied with faded ribbons. And underneath the letters, a small journal with a worn leather cover. Michael lifted out the journal. Opened it to the first page. His grandmother's handwriting. Young and neat. The date at the top, June 15th, 1952. Today I met a man named James at the summer dance. He asked me to dance 3 times. 3 times. I think I'm in love. Michael felt something catch in his throat. What is it? Emma asked. It's your great-grandmother's diary. From when she was young. Really? And letters. These must be letters between her and my grandfather. Emma touched the letters gently. She wanted you to read them. Yeah, I think she did. They sat down right there in the garden. On the ground. Dirt and all. And Michael opened the first letter. The letters told a story. James and Lily. 2 kids from small towns. They met at a dance in the summer of 1952. He was 19. She was 17. He was about to join the Navy. She was about to start college. They fell in love fast. The way young people do when they don't know yet how hard life can be. Michael read the letters out loud, and Emma listened. My dearest Lily, I've been on the ship for 2 weeks now, and every day I think about you. The way you laughed when I stepped on your toes during that first dance. The way you looked at me when I told you I was leaving. I know this is hard, being apart. But I promise you, when I come back, I'm going to marry you. I'm going to build you a house with a big garden. And we're going to grow old together. Wait for me. Love always. James. Emma wiped her eyes. That's so beautiful. Michael kept reading. Letter after letter. Some were short. Some were long. But all of them were full of love. And then there was a letter from Lily. The handwriting was shaky. Tear-stained. My darling James. I don't know how to tell you this. But I have to. I can't wait anymore. My father is sick. Very sick. And my mother needs me here. I can't go away to college. I can't leave her alone. And there's someone else. A man from town. Thomas. He's asked me to marry him. He has a good job. He can take care of my family. I don't love him the way I love you. I never will. But sometimes love isn't enough, is it? Sometimes we have to do what's right. What's responsible. Please don't hate me. I will love you forever. Lily. Michael stopped reading. He looked at Emma. She didn't marry Grandpa James right away? I guess not. There were more letters. James's responses. Angry at first. Then sad. Then accepting. Lily. I understand. I don't like it. But I understand. I hope you're happy. I hope Thomas treats you the way you deserve to be treated. I'll always love you. No matter what. James. Michael felt something heavy in his chest. He kept reading. The next letters were dated years later. 1958. 6 years after they'd first met. James. I heard you're back in town. I know I have no right to reach out to you. But I need you to know something. I'm not married anymore. Thomas and it didn't work. He was a good man. But he wasn't you. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know that I've always regretted my choice. Every single day. Lily. And James's response, written just a week later. Lily. I'm coming to see you. Tonight. Don't say no. I've loved you for 6 years. I'll love you for 60 more if you'll let me. James. Emma was crying now. Really crying. Did they get back together? Michael flipped through the rest of the letters. There weren't many more. But the last one was from James to Lily. Dated December 24th, 1958. My darling wife. We got married 6 months ago, and every day since has been the happiest day of my life. I know we lost time. 6 years we could have had together. But we have now. We have today. We have tomorrow. And that's enough. Merry Christmas, my love. James. Michael closed the box carefully. He sat there in the dirt of his grandmother's garden, holding these letters that had waited so long to be read. She wanted you to know, Emma said softly, that sometimes people lose each other. But sometimes they find their way back. Michael nodded. He couldn't speak. That afternoon, Grace came over. She knocked on the back door this time. Michael saw her through the screen and motioned her in. I hope I'm not interrupting, she said. Then she saw Emma. Oh, I didn't know you had company. This is my daughter Emma, Michael said. This is Grace. She lives next door. Emma stood up and shook Grace's hand. Nice to meet you. You too. Grace smiled. You have your father's eyes. Emma glanced at Michael. Something knowing in her expression. Thanks. We found something, Michael said. In the garden. Letters. From my grandparents. Grace's face softened. The letters. Lily told me about those. She told you. She told me a lot of things. Grace came further into the kitchen. She said those letters were the most important things she owned, because they reminded her that it's never too late to choose love. Michael felt those words sink into him. Deep. How well did you know my grandmother? He asked. Grace looked down at her hands. I told you. We had tea every Thursday. But it was more than that. She was like a mother to me. My own mother died when I was young. And Lily sort of adopted me. I'm sorry. About your mother. It was a long time ago. Grace smiled, but there was sadness in it. Lily used to say that life gives us people when we need them. And that sometimes the family we choose is just as important as the family we're born into. Emma was watching Grace carefully. Then she looked at Michael. Dad, I'm going to go inside and read for a bit. Give you two some space to talk. Emma. It's fine, Dad. Really? She smiled and went inside. Michael and Grace stood there in the kitchen. Alone. Your daughter is lovely, Grace said. Thanks. She's a good kid. She looks at you like she's worried about you. Yeah, I think everyone's worried about me these days. Grace didn't say anything for a moment. Then, can I tell you something? Sure. Your grandmother asked me to watch out for you. Before she died, she made me promise. Michael felt something shift in his chest. What do you mean? She knew you were struggling. With your marriage. With everything. And she wanted someone to be here when you came back to this house. Someone who understood. Understood what? Grace met his eyes. What it's like to lose something and not know how to find your way back to yourself. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. You've been through something too, Michael said quietly. It wasn't a question. Yes. Do you want to tell me about it? Grace shook her head. Not yet. Maybe someday. But not yet. Michael understood that. Sometimes words took time. Thank you, he said. For keeping your promise to my grandmother. For the casserole. For the groceries. For checking on me. You don't have to thank me. I think I do. Grace smiled. A real smile. Your grandmother said you were stubborn. But kind. She was right. She usually was. Grace moved toward the door. Then she stopped. Michael? Yeah. I'm glad you're here. In this house. I think it's good for you. Then she left. And Michael stood in the kitchen, feeling something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Sunday morning, Emma had to go back to her mother's. Michael drove her home. They didn't talk much on the drive. Just listened to music. Comfortable silence. When they pulled up to the house, his old house where Sarah still lived, Emma turned to him. Dad. Yeah. I'm proud of you. Michael felt his throat tighten. For what? For trying. For not giving up. I'm not sure I'm doing a very good job. You're doing better than you think. She leaned over and kissed his cheek. Read the rest of Grandma's journal. I think it'll help. Okay. I will. She got out of the car and walked to the house. Sarah opened the door and waved at Michael. He waved back. Then he drove away. Back at his grandmother's house, Michael made coffee and sat down with the journal. He'd only read the first entry. Now he started from the beginning and kept going. The entries were short at first. Little snippets of Lily's life as a young woman. But as the journal went on, the entries got longer. More detailed. There was an entry from 1953. A year after she'd met James. I married Thomas today. It was a small ceremony. Just family. He's a good man. He'll take care of me. Take care of my mother. But when the minister asked if I took him as my husband, I thought of James. I thought of the way he held me when we danced. The way he looked at me like I was the only person in the world. I wonder if I'm making a terrible mistake. But it's too late now. I made my choice. More entries. Years passing. Lily trying to make her marriage work. Trying to love Thomas the way a wife should love her husband. But there was always something missing. An entry from 1956. Thomas and I fight about small things. Stupid things. How to fold the laundry. What to have for dinner. But really we're fighting about something else. Something neither of us wants to say out loud. He knows I don't love him. Not the way I should. And I think it's killing him slowly. And then, in 1957, Thomas asked me for a divorce today. He said he can't live like this anymore. Knowing that I'm thinking of someone else. I cried. Not because I don't want the divorce. But because I hurt him. I hurt a good man who never did anything but try to make me happy. I'm a terrible person. Michael had to stop reading. His hands were shaking. He thought about Sarah. About his marriage. About how he'd shut down after Afghanistan. How he'd pushed her away without meaning to. He thought about how easy it was to hurt the people you loved. Even when you didn't want to. He kept reading. The entries after Lily's divorce were different. Lighter. Hopeful. I wrote to James today. I don't know if he'll respond. But I had to try. I can't spend the rest of my life wondering what if. And then, James came to see me last night. We talked for hours. About everything. About what happened. About why I made the choices I made. He said he understands. He said he forgave me a long time ago. We're going to take it slow. See if we can find our way back to each other. I feel like I can breathe again. Michael read about their courtship. How they dated for 6 months. How James proposed on Christmas Eve. How they got married on New Year's Day in 1959. And then entry after entry about their life together. Building this house. Planting the garden. Growing old side by side. The last entry in the journal was dated just 2 months before his grandmother died. I'm dying. The doctors say I have maybe a year. Maybe less. I'm not afraid. I've had a beautiful life. 56 years with the man I love. A wonderful grandson. Memories that could fill 1,000 journals. But I'm worried about Michael. He came to visit last month, and I could see it in his eyes. That same look I had when I was married to Thomas. That lost look. I'm leaving him this house. And these letters. And this journal. I hope he reads them. I hope he understands what I'm trying to tell him. It's never too late to choose love. It's never too late to choose yourself. It's never too late to come home. I love you, Michael. Find your way back. Michael closed the journal. He sat there in the quiet of his grandmother's kitchen. And he understood. That week, Michael started fixing the house. He fixed the sagging porch, replaced rotten boards, painted the railings. He cleared out the garden, pulled weeds, trimmed back the overgrown bushes, fixed the fountain so water ran through it again. He worked every day, from morning until evening. And slowly, the house started to look like itself again. Grace would come over sometimes, bring him lunch, sit on the porch steps and talk while he worked. They talked about small things at first. The weather, the garden, the town. But slowly they started talking about bigger things. One afternoon, while Michael was repainting the porch, Grace told him about her ex-husband. We were married for 10 years, she said quietly. I thought we were happy. But then I found out he'd been having an affair. For 3 years. Michael stopped painting. I'm sorry. It broke me for a while. I didn't know how to trust anyone after that. Didn't know how to trust myself. How did you get through it? Grace smiled sadly. Your grandmother helped. She told me that one person's betrayal doesn't mean everyone will betray you. She said I had to choose whether to stay broken or to heal. And you chose to heal. I'm choosing it. Every day. Some days are easier than others. Michael understood that. What about you? Grace asked. What happened with your wife? Michael set down his paintbrush. I shut down. After I came back from Afghanistan. I saw things there. Did things. And I didn't know how to talk about it. So I just stopped talking. PTSD. Yeah. But I didn't want to admit it. Didn't want to go to therapy. Didn't want to be weak. That's not weak. I know that now. But I didn't know it then. Michael looked down at his hands. By the time I figured it out, Sarah was done. She said she couldn't be married to a ghost anymore. Grace was quiet for a moment. Do you still love her? Michael thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know, he said honestly. I think I love who we used to be. But I don't know if we can get that back. Maybe you're not supposed to get it back. Maybe you're supposed to find something new. Michael looked at her. Grace was watching him with those kind eyes. Those eyes that saw too much. Is that what you're doing? He asked. Finding something new. I'm trying. They sat there in comfortable silence. The sun was setting. The garden was full of shadows and golden light. Your grandmother was a wise woman, Grace said. Yeah, she was. She told me once that the bravest thing a person can do is start over. Even when they're scared. Even when they don't know if it'll work out. Sounds like her. Grace stood up. I should go. But thank you. For letting me be here. For letting me talk. Thank you for listening. She walked back to her house and Michael watched her go. He thought about what his grandmother had written. It's never too late to choose love. Maybe she was right. 2 weeks later, both Emma and David came to stay for the weekend. It was the first time Michael had seen David since before the separation. His son was quiet in the car. Didn't look at him much. Just stared out the window. Emma tried to fill the silence with chatter about school. About her friends. But even she couldn't completely cover the awkwardness. When they got to the house, David finally spoke. This is it. Yeah, Michael said. This is it. David looked around. Unimpressed. It's kind of old. It is old. But it's got good bones. And your great-grandmother loved this place. David shrugged. Whatever. Emma gave Michael an apologetic look. He shook his head slightly. It's okay. They went inside. Emma took her stuff up to the same room she'd stayed in before. David took the other guest room. Didn't say a word. Michael stood in the hallway feeling helpless. He didn't know how to reach his son. Didn't know how to bridge the gap that had grown between them. That evening, Michael made dinner. Burgers on the grill out back. Emma helped. David sat on the porch steps, playing on his phone. He's just hurt, Emma said quietly. He doesn't know how to deal with it. I know. He'll come around. Just give him time. Michael flipped the burgers. How much time? I don't know, Dad. As much as he needs. They ate dinner mostly in silence. Michael tried to start conversations. Asked about school. About David's basketball team. About what he'd been up to. David gave one-word answers. Yes. No. Fine. Emma tried to help. But eventually even she gave up. After dinner, Michael was washing dishes when David came into the kitchen. Can I talk to you? Michael turned off the water. Of course. David stood there, hands in his pockets. Not looking at him. Mom said you're seeing a therapist now. Yeah, I am. Why didn't you do that before? Michael dried his hands. Chose his words carefully. I was scared. And stubborn. I thought I could handle everything on my own. But you couldn't. No, I couldn't. David finally looked at him. His eyes were angry. But underneath the anger, Michael could see the hurt. You just left us, David said. You were there, but you weren't there. You know, like you were somewhere else all the time. Michael felt his chest tighten. I know. And then Mom left. And you didn't even fight for her. You just let her go. It was more complicated than that. Was it? David's voice cracked. Because from where I was standing, it looked like you didn't care enough to try. The words hit Michael hard. Because there was truth in them. You're right, Michael said quietly. I didn't fight. I should have. I should have fought for your mother. For you. For Emma. For our family. David wiped his eyes quickly. So why didn't you? Because I was lost. Because I came back from the war, and I didn't know how to be a person anymore. How to be a husband. A father. I was just trying to survive each day, and I forgot that you needed more than that. You needed a dad who was present, who paid attention, who showed up. David was quiet for a long moment. Mom said you were sick, that it wasn't your fault. Your mom's being generous. Some of it was the PTSD, but some of it was just me being too proud to ask for help. And now? Are you better now? Michael thought about it. I'm getting there. I'm trying. That's why I'm seeing the therapist. That's why I'm here fixing this house. Trying to figure out who I am when I'm not just running away from everything. David looked around the kitchen. Did you really spend summers here when you were a kid? Every summer until I was 16. What was it like? Michael smiled. It was good. Peaceful. My grandmother would make me work in the garden every morning. Then I could do whatever I wanted. I'd explore the woods. Go fishing in the creek. Read books on the porch. Sounds boring. It wasn't. It was simple. But it wasn't boring. David was quiet again. Then, can you teach me to fish? Michael looked at his son. Really looked at him. You want to learn? Maybe. I don't know. David shrugged. I want to do something with you. Something that's not just sitting around being mad. Michael felt something break open in his chest. Yeah. Yes. I'd love to teach you. Okay. David started to leave, then turned back. Dad. Yeah. I'm still mad at you. I know. But I'm glad you're trying. Then he left. And Michael stood in the kitchen, tears running down his face. Emma came in a few minutes later. She didn't say anything. Just hugged him. He's going to be okay, she whispered. You're both going to be okay. Michael hoped she was right. The next morning, Michael woke up early and dug through the shed until he found his grandfather's old fishing poles. They were dusty but still good. He cleaned them off, found some line and hooks, put everything in an old tackle box. David and Emma were still asleep. Michael made coffee and sat on the porch, watching the sun come up. Grace came out of her house around 7. She waved. Michael waved back. She walked over, carrying 2 mugs of coffee. I made extra. Thought you might want some. Thanks. He took the mug. You're up early. Couldn't sleep. I heard voices last night. Everything okay? My son and I had a talk. First real talk in months. Grace sat down on the porch steps. How did it go? Hard. But good. He's angry. He has a right to be. But he wants to try. That's something. That's everything. They sat in silence for a while. Drinking coffee. Watching the morning. I'm taking him fishing today, Michael said. Down at the creek. That's a good idea. Your grandmother said some of her favorite memories were watching you fish when you were little. Michael smiled. I was terrible at it. I caught maybe 3 fish the whole time I was growing up. It wasn't about catching fish. No, it wasn't. Grace stood up. I'll leave you to it. But good luck today. Thanks. She started to walk away, then turned back. Michael. Yeah, you're a good father. Even if you don't feel like it. Even if you've made mistakes. You're trying. That matters. Before he could respond, she was gone. David woke up around 8. He came downstairs, hair messy, still in his pajamas. Morning, Michael said. Morning. I found the fishing poles. Whenever you're ready. David nodded. Let me get dressed. Emma came down a few minutes later. Are you guys going fishing? Yeah, Michael said. Wanna come? No thanks. I'll stay here. Maybe work in the garden a little. I want to see if I can get those roses to bloom again. Michael smiled. Your great-grandmother would like that. I know. Michael and David walked through the woods behind the house. There was a trail, overgrown now, but Michael remembered it. His feet knew the way. The creek was exactly as he remembered. Clear water running over smooth stones. Trees hanging over the banks. The sound of water and birds and wind in the leaves. It's nice here, David said. Yeah, it is. They set up on a flat rock by the water. Michael showed David how to bait the hook, how to cast, how to wait. They didn't talk much at first, just fished. After about 20 minutes, David said, I don't think there are any fish in here. There are. You just have to be patient. How do you know? Because my grandfather told me, and he never lied. David smiled a little. What was he like? Your grandfather? Quiet. Strong. He didn't say much, but when he said something, it mattered. He taught me how to fix things, how to work with my hands, how to be patient. Did he teach you how to fish? He tried. I wasn't a very good student. David laughed. Actually laughed. It was the first time Michael had heard that sound in months. What about Grandma Lily? David asked. What was she like? She was the opposite of my grandfather. She talked all the time, asked a million questions. She was curious about everything, and she loved with her whole heart. I remember her a little. She used to make cookies. Snickerdoodles. Yeah. David was quiet for a moment. I'm sorry she died. Me too. They sat there, fishing, not catching anything. But it didn't matter. After a while, David said, Dad? Yeah. Do you think you and Mom will get back together? Michael's heart sank. He'd been dreading this question. I don't know, buddy. I don't think so. Why not? Because sometimes two people grow apart. And even if they love each other, sometimes that's not enough. Do you still love her? Michael thought about it. I love the person she was. The person we were together. But I don't know if we can be those people again. So it's just over? I don't know if it's over. But I think it's different now. We're different now. David pulled his line out of the water. Recast it. It sucks. Yeah, it does. But you're trying to be better. Right. Then maybe that's enough. Michael looked at his son. 12 years old. Too young to have to think about divorce and broken families. But handling it with more grace than Michael had any right to expect. When did you get so wise? Michael asked. David shrugged. I don't know. I think Emma's rubbing off on me. They fished for another hour. Didn't catch anything. But when they walked back to the house, David was smiling. That evening, Michael decided to make Sunday dinner. It was something his grandmother used to do. Every Sunday. Big meal. Everyone at the table. No phones. Just food and family and conversation. He didn't have much to work with. But he made what he could. Roast chicken. Potatoes. Green beans. Rolls. Emma helped. She set the table with his grandmother's old dishes. Found candles in the cupboard and lit them. It looks nice, she said. Like something from an old movie. Your great-grandmother would have loved this. I think she does love it. Wherever she is. Michael smiled. Maybe you're right. David came downstairs, sniffing the air. Smells good. Thanks. It's almost ready. They sat down to eat. The three of them. The candles flickering. The windows open to let in the evening air. Michael said grace. Something he hadn't done in years. But it felt right. Thank you for this food. Thank you for this house. Thank you for these two beautiful kids. Amen. Amen, Emma and David echoed. They ate. And for the first time in a long time, it felt like a family. Emma talked about her classes. About a boy she liked but wouldn't name. David talked about his basketball team. About how they might make the playoffs. Michael just listened, soaking it in. These ordinary moments that he'd taken for granted for so long. After dinner, they did dishes together. All three of them. David washed. Emma dried. Michael put away. Can we come back next weekend? Emma asked. Michael looked at her. You want to? Yeah. I like it here. It feels like home. Me too, David said quietly. I mean, if that's okay. Michael felt his throat tighten. Of course it's okay. You can come whenever you want. What if we came every weekend? Emma said. At least for a while. Until you get the house all fixed up. I'd love that. David was looking out the window. Who's that lady? The one who keeps coming over. Michael followed his gaze. Grace was out in her garden, watering flowers. That's Grace. She was friends with your great-grandmother. Is she your girlfriend? David asked bluntly. What? No. She's just a friend. Emma and David exchanged a look. What? Michael said. Nothing, Emma said, but she was smiling. You guys are imagining things. Sure, Dad, David said. Whatever you say. Before the kids left on Sunday evening, Emma pulled Michael aside. Dad, can I tell you something? Always. I think you should ask Grace out. Michael blinked. What? I'm serious. I saw the way you look at her. And the way she looks at you. I'm still married. Technically. The papers are filed. Mom's already dating someone. That hit Michael like a punch. She is. Emma nodded. Some guy from her work. She didn't want to tell you. But I think you should know. Michael didn't know what to feel. Hurt. Relieved. Sad. All of it at once. I'm not ready to date, he said. I'm not saying marry her tomorrow. I'm just saying get to know her. She seems nice. And you seem happy when she's around. I'm figuring myself out right now. I don't think it's fair to drag someone else into that. Emma hugged him. Just think about it. Okay. After the kids left, Michael sat on the porch. He thought about Sarah, about their marriage, about how it had slowly died without either of them really noticing until it was too late. He thought about his grandmother's letters, about how she and James had lost 6 years, but found each other again. He thought about Grace, about her kindness, her understanding, the way she saw him clearly and didn't turn away. But Emma was right about one thing. He wasn't ready. He had too much work to do on himself first. He was about to go inside when Grace came out of her house. She walked over, carrying something. As she got closer, he saw it was a pie. I made too much, she said. Thought you might want some. Michael smiled. You're always feeding me. Someone has to. You're getting too thin. She handed him the pie. Their fingers touched. Just for a moment. Thank you, Michael said. For everything. Not just the food, but for being here. For being patient with me while I figure things out. Grace looked at him for a long moment. Can I tell you something? Sure. Your grandmother asked me to watch out for you. And I am. But that's not the only reason I keep coming over. It's not. No. She took a breath. I like spending time with you, Michael. You're kind. You're real. You don't pretend to have everything figured out. And I admire that. Michael didn't know what to say. I'm not asking for anything, Grace continued. I know you're going through a difficult time. I know you need space to heal. But I wanted you to know that when you're ready, if you're ever ready, I'm here. She turned to go. Grace, Michael said. She stopped. I like spending time with you too. She smiled. Good. Then she walked back to her house. Michael stood there holding the pie, his heart beating faster than it had in months. 3 weeks later, a storm came through. Michael was working on replacing some shingles on the roof when the sky suddenly darkened. Wind picked up. Thunder rumbled in the distance. He climbed down quickly, started putting his tools away. The first drops of rain started falling. Then he heard it. A crack. A crash. The sound of wood splintering. He ran around to Grace's house. A large branch from the old oak tree in her yard had fallen. It had crashed through her porch roof. Rain was pouring in. Grace came running out of the house. Are you okay? Michael shouted over the storm. I'm fine. But the porch. Do you have tarps? Anything to cover it? In the shed. They ran to her shed. Found tarps, rope, bungee cords. Ran back to the house. The storm was getting worse. Rain coming down in sheets. Wind howling. Michael climbed up onto what was left of the porch roof. Started securing the tarp. Grace held the ladder. Passed him rope. They worked together. Soaking wet. Fighting the wind. But they got the tarp secured. When they climbed down, they were both drenched. Come inside, Grace said. Both of us are going to catch pneumonia. Inside her house, Grace grabbed towels. Handed one to Michael. Thank you, she said. I don't know what I would have done if you weren't here. I'm glad I was. They stood there, dripping on her floor. The storm raging outside. Grace started laughing. What? Michael asked. Look at us. We look like drowned rats. Michael laughed too. And it felt good. I'll make coffee, Grace said. You should stay until the storm passes. I don't want you walking back in this. Okay. Grace went to the kitchen. Michael looked around her house. He'd never been inside before. It was cozy. Warm. Books everywhere. Photographs on the walls. A piano in the corner. You play, he called out. A little, Grace called back. Your grandmother taught me. Really? Grace came back with 2 mugs of coffee. She was an excellent teacher. Patient. Encouraging. They sat on her couch. Drinking coffee. Listening to the storm. Can I ask you something? Michael said. Sure. Why did you move here? To this town, I mean. Grace wrapped her hands around her mug. After my divorce, I needed to start over somewhere new. Somewhere I didn't have memories of him. Of us. I found this house listed online. It was cheap. Needed work. But something about it felt right. And you met my grandmother. I met your grandmother. She came over the day I moved in. Brought me cookies. Said welcome to the neighborhood. We talked for 3 hours. Michael smiled. That sounds like her. She saved me, Grace said quietly. I was so broken, so angry, and she just listened. She didn't try to fix me. She just let me be broken until I was ready not to be. She was good at that. Grace looked at him. She talked about you all the time. She said you were the best person she knew, that you had a good heart, that you'd been through hell but came out the other side with your kindness intact. I don't know if that's true. It is. I've seen it. The way you are with your kids. The way you helped me just now without even thinking about it. The way you're trying so hard to be better. Michael set down his coffee. Grace, I need to tell you something. Okay. My divorce is almost final. The papers are signed. We're just waiting for the court date. I know. Lily told me. And I like you. A lot. But I'm not sure I'm ready for anything yet. I'm still figuring out who I am. And I don't want to hurt you while I'm doing that. Grace was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled. I appreciate your honesty. And I'm not asking you to be ready. I'm just saying I'm here. Whenever you are. What if I'm never ready? Then we're friends. Good friends. And that's enough. Michael looked at her. This woman who was patient and kind and understood him in ways no one else did. Thank you, he said. For what? For being you. The storm passed. But Michael stayed a while longer. They talked about small things. Big things. Everything and nothing. And when he finally left, walking through the wet grass back to his house, he felt lighter than he had in years. Summer turned to autumn. Michael kept working on the house. Emma and David came every weekend. Sometimes they worked. Sometimes they just existed together. Michael and David fished every Saturday morning. Still never caught anything. But it didn't matter. Emma worked in the garden. She got the roses to bloom. Planted new flowers. Made the place beautiful again. Sarah came to pick up the kids one Sunday. She got out of the car and looked at the house. It looks good, she said to Michael. You've done a lot of work. Thanks. She hesitated. Can we talk for a minute? Sure. They walked to the side of the house. Away from the kids. I heard you're seeing a therapist, Sarah said. Yeah, twice a week. How's it going? Hard. But good. I'm learning a lot. About myself. About what I need to work on. Sarah nodded. I'm glad. Really. I'm glad you're getting help. I'm sorry, Michael said. For shutting you out. For not being present. For all of it. I know. Emma told me you said that to her. I should have said it to you. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry too. For giving up. For not pushing harder. For leaving the way I did. You did what you had to do. Maybe. But it still hurt us. All of us. They stood there in silence for a moment. Are we doing the right thing? Sarah asked. Getting divorced? Michael thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know if it's right or wrong, he said. But I think it's what we need. I think we need to figure out who we are separately before we can figure out if we should be together. And if we figure that out, then what? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Sarah wiped her eyes. The guy I've been seeing. Emma told you. Yeah. It's not serious. I needed to feel like someone saw me. You know. I understand. Do you? Do you really? Michael nodded. I do. Because I felt invisible too. I felt like I was drowning, and no one could see it. Sarah reached out and touched his arm. I hope you find what you're looking for, Michael. I really do. You too. She walked back to the car. Emma and David hugged Michael goodbye. He stood in the driveway and watched them drive away. That evening, Grace came over. She'd been doing that more often. Just dropping by. Sometimes with food. Sometimes just to talk. Tonight she came empty-handed. I have something to tell you, she said. They sat on the porch steps. I got a job offer, Grace said. In Seattle. It's a good job. Better than what I'm doing now. Michael felt his stomach drop. Seattle. Yeah. When would you leave? They want me to start in 2 months. But I haven't decided yet. Why not? It sounds like a good opportunity. Grace looked at him. Because I don't know if I want to leave. Because of the house. Because of you. The words hung in the air between them. Grace. Let me finish, she said. I know you're not ready. I know you're still figuring things out. And I'm not asking you to make any promises. But I need to know. Is there a chance? Someday. Michael's heart was racing. I don't want you to turn down a good job because of me. That's not what I asked. He looked at her. Really looked at her. This woman who had been so patient. So kind. So present. Yes, he said quietly. There's a chance. Grace smiled. Tears in her eyes. That's all I needed to know. But I can't ask you to stay. That's not fair to you. You're not asking. I'm choosing. Grace. She put her hand on his. I'm choosing to stay. Because I want to see where this goes. Because I think you're worth waiting for. But also because I love this town. I love this house. I love the life I've built here. The job in Seattle is good. But it's not worth leaving everything else behind. Michael turned his hand over. Held hers. Are you sure? I'm sure. They sat there, holding hands, watching the sun set. Can I take you to dinner? Michael asked. Not as a date. Not yet. But as, I don't know, something. Grace laughed. Something sounds perfect. They went to dinner the following Saturday. A small restaurant in town. Nothing fancy. Just good food and quiet conversation. Michael was nervous. He couldn't remember the last time he'd been nervous like this. Grace wore a blue dress. Simple. Beautiful. She smiled when she saw him. You look nice, Michael said. So do you. They sat by the window. Ordered food. Talked. Michael told her about his therapy sessions. About the things he was learning. How to be present. How to let people in. How to forgive himself. Grace told him about her childhood. Growing up in a small town in Oregon. Her mother dying when she was 16. Having to grow up too fast. I think that's why I stayed in my marriage so long, she said. Even when I knew it wasn't right. I was so afraid of being alone. Of losing another person I loved. But you're not afraid anymore? I'm still afraid. But I've learned that being alone is better than being with someone who doesn't really see you. Michael understood that. The food came. They ate. They talked about lighter things. Books. Movies. Places they wanted to travel. I've always wanted to see Italy, Grace said. Walk through old cities. Eat real Italian food. See the art. My grandmother went to Italy. She and my grandfather. For their 30th anniversary. She said it was the most beautiful place she'd ever seen. Maybe someday, Grace said. Maybe. After dinner, they walked through the town. The streets were quiet. Streetlights casting long shadows. Thank you for tonight, Grace said. I had a really nice time. Me too. They walked back to their houses. Side by side. Not touching. But close. At Grace's front porch, they stopped. Michael, Grace said. Yeah. Take your time. Okay. There's no rush. I'm not going anywhere. He smiled. Okay. She kissed him on the cheek. Just a soft, brief kiss. Then she went inside. Michael walked back to his house. His heart full of something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Possibility. The sense that maybe, just maybe, he was finding his way back to himself. One Thursday afternoon, Michael was working in the garden when Emma called. Dad, can I come over? I need to talk to you about something. Of course. Everything okay? Yeah. I need to talk. She arrived an hour later. Came straight to the garden where Michael was working. They sat on the bench near the fountain. The water trickling peacefully. What's going on, sweetheart? Michael asked. Emma was quiet for a moment. Then, Mom wants me to talk to you about Thanksgiving. Michael's stomach tightened. Okay. She wants to know what we're doing. If we're spending it with you or with her. And she said we might spend Christmas with her new boyfriend and his family. How do you feel about that? I don't know. It's weird. He's nice. But he's not you. Michael put his arm around her. It's okay to feel weird about it. That's normal. Are you mad? About her dating someone? No. Not mad. Maybe a little sad. But not mad. Do you still love her? Michael thought about it. I'll always love your mother in some way. She gave me you and David. We built a life together. But I don't think we're meant to be married anymore. Because you're different people now. Yeah. Because we're different people now. Emma leaned her head on his shoulder. I think you should spend Thanksgiving with Grace. Michael laughed. What? I'm serious. David and I will be with Mom. You shouldn't be alone. And Grace is nice. You like her. It's complicated, Em. Why? Because I'm still figuring myself out. And I don't want to rush into something before I'm ready. But you like her, right? Yes. I like her. And she likes you. Yes. Then what's the problem? Michael smiled. When did you get so smart about relationships? I've been watching a lot of therapy videos on YouTube. They both laughed. I'll think about it, Michael said. The Thanksgiving thing. Good. They sat there for a while. Just being together. And Michael realized that this was healing too. These quiet moments with his children. These honest conversations. Dad, Emma said. Yeah, I'm proud of you. I know I've said that before. But I want to say it again. You're doing the work. You're trying. That matters. Thank you, sweetheart. And I think Grandma Lily would be proud of you too. Michael felt tears prick his eyes. I hope so. I know so. Thanksgiving came. Emma and David were with Sarah and her boyfriend. Michael didn't mind. He wanted them to have both parents in their lives. Even if those lives looked different now. He planned to spend the day alone. Maybe work on the house. Maybe just read. He was okay with quiet. But around 10 in the morning, Grace knocked on the door. She was holding a pie. "Pumpkin, I know you said you were fine spending today alone," she said. "But I made too much food. And I really don't want to eat a whole turkey by myself. So I'm inviting you to Thanksgiving dinner. No pressure. No expectations. Just food and company." Michael smiled. "Emma put you up to this, didn't she? She may have texted me. She may have said her father needs someone to make sure he eats on holidays. She's very meddling. She loves you." Michael looked at Grace, standing there on his porch, offering him kindness, offering him connection. "What time?" he asked. 3:00. "But you can come earlier if you want. Help me cook." "I'd like that." Michael showed up at Grace's house at noon. She put him to work immediately, peeling potatoes, chopping vegetables, setting the table. They worked side by side in the kitchen, music playing softly, the smell of turkey and herbs filling the house. "I haven't done this in years," Michael said. "Cooked Thanksgiving dinner." "Really? Sarah always did it. I just helped a little. But mostly I just showed up and ate." "Well, today you're doing the work." They laughed. They talked. They cooked. And somewhere in the middle of mashing potatoes, Michael realized something. He was happy. Not the intense, burning happiness of new love, but the quiet, steady happiness of being comfortable, of being seen, of being accepted exactly as he was. When the food was ready, they sat down. Just the two of them. Grace's small dining table set with her grandmother's china. "Should we say grace?" Grace asked. "Yes." They held hands across the table. "Thank you," Michael said, "for this food. For this house. For this day. For second chances. For patience. For grace." He opened his eyes. Grace was smiling. Tears on her cheeks. "That was beautiful," she said. "I meant it." They ate. They talked. They laughed. After dinner, they sat on Grace's couch with coffee and pie. "Can I tell you something?" Michael said. "Always. I'm glad I came back here. To this house. To this town. I didn't want to at first. I thought it would be painful. But it's been healing. Your grandmother knew that." "Yeah, she did." Grace set down her coffee. "Can I tell you something?" "Sure. I was really lonely before you came. I had built this life here. This quiet, safe life. But I was lonely. And then you showed up. And suddenly I wasn't anymore. I'm glad I showed up." "Me too." They sat there in comfortable silence. The fire crackling in the fireplace. The day fading into evening. "Michael," Grace said softly. "Yeah, I know you're still figuring things out. And I'm not trying to rush you. But I want you to know something." "What?" "I'm falling in love with you." The words settled over them. Gentle. True. Michael's heart was racing. "Grace, you don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know. Because life is short. And I don't want to spend it hiding how I feel." Michael looked at her. This brave, beautiful woman who had been so patient with him. "I'm falling in love with you too," he said quietly. "I didn't think I could feel this way again. But I do." Grace smiled. "So what do we do now?" "I don't know. Take it slow." "Slow is good." Michael reached out and took her hand. "Thank you. For today. For everything." "You're welcome." They sat there, holding hands, watching the fire. And for the first time in years, Michael felt at peace. Winter came to the small town. Snow covered the garden. Ice on the windows. The world quiet and white. Michael and Grace saw each other almost every day. Sometimes they went out. Sometimes they just sat together. Reading. Talking. Being. The divorce became final in December. Michael got the papers in the mail. He sat at his kitchen table and read them. The official end of his marriage. The official closing of that chapter. He felt sad, but also relieved. Emma and David took it well. They'd known it was coming. "Are you okay, Dad?" Emma asked. "Yeah, I think I am." "Good." That weekend, both kids came to stay. They decorated the house for Christmas. Put up a tree. Hung stockings. Made the place feel festive and warm. David helped Michael string lights outside. They worked in the cold, their breath making clouds. "Dad," David said. "Yeah. Are you going to marry Grace?" Michael nearly dropped the lights. "What? Grace? Are you going to marry her? We've only been dating for a couple months." "So, you like her. She likes you. Emma and I like her. Why wait?" "It's not that simple." "Why not?" Michael thought about it. "Because I want to make sure I'm ready. That I'm healthy enough. That I can be the kind of partner she deserves." David was quiet for a moment. Then, I think you're ready. Yeah. You're different than you were before. You smile more. You listen. You're here. Really here. Michael felt his throat tighten. That means a lot, buddy. I'm just saying. Don't wait too long. Good people don't wait forever. Michael looked at his son. 13 now. Growing up so fast. Saying things that were wiser than his years. When did you get so smart? Michael asked. David grinned. I've always been smart. You just weren't paying attention. They both laughed. Christmas morning, Grace came over early. She brought cinnamon rolls. Fresh from the oven. Still warm. Emma and David were still asleep. Michael and Grace sat in the kitchen, drinking coffee, watching the snow fall outside. I have something for you, Grace said. She handed him a small wrapped package. You didn't have to get me anything, Michael said. I wanted to. He opened it carefully. Inside was a leather journal. Exactly like his grandmother's. And a fountain pen. I thought you might want to write your own story, Grace said. Not just read hers. Michael was speechless. Your grandmother told me once that writing things down helps you understand them. Helps you see patterns. Helps you heal. Thank you, Michael managed. This is perfect. There's something else in there. Look at the first page. Michael opened the journal. On the first page, Grace had written something. For Michael, who taught me that it's never too late to start over. Who showed me that broken things can be made beautiful again. Who reminded me what it feels like to hope. With love. Grace. Michael looked up at her. Tears in his eyes. I love you, he said. I know it's fast. I know we're taking it slow. But I need you to know. I love you. Grace smiled. Tears in her eyes too. I love you too. They sat there. Just looking at each other. The weight of those words settling between them. Then Emma came downstairs. Oh good, you're both here, she said, yawning. Can we open presents now? Grace laughed. Good morning to you too. Sorry. Good morning. Now can we open presents? Michael and Grace exchanged a look. A look that said we'll talk about this later. Go wake up your brother, Michael said. Then we'll open presents. January came. Then February. Then March. Michael and Grace's relationship deepened. They talked about everything. Their pasts. Their fears. Their dreams. Michael introduced her officially to Emma and David. They had dinner together. Went to the movies. Did normal, everyday things. The kids loved her. She was kind to them. Interested in their lives. She didn't try to replace their mother. She just tried to be present. Sarah met Grace once. When she came to pick up the kids. It was awkward. But not hostile. She seems nice, Sarah said to Michael. She is. I'm glad you found someone. Thanks. Sarah hesitated. Are you happy? Yeah, I am. Are you? Getting there. It was enough. In April, Michael's therapy sessions started to space out. From twice a week to once a week. His therapist said he was making excellent progress. You've done the work, she said. You've faced your trauma. You've learned to be present. You've opened yourself up to connection again. So I'm fixed, Michael asked, half joking. You're not broken, Michael. You never were. You were just hurt. And now you're healing. Those words stayed with him. One evening in May, Michael and Grace walked down to the creek, where he and David fished every Saturday. The trees were green. The water was clear. The world was alive with spring. They sat on their favorite rock. Can I ask you something? Michael said. Always. What do you want? For the future, I mean. What does your life look like in 5 years? Grace thought about it. I want to keep living in my little house. Working. Maybe travel a little. But mostly I just want to be happy. To be with people I love. To do work that matters. What about marriage? Kids. Grace looked at him. Are you asking what I think you're asking? Michael's heart was pounding. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to understand what you want. What do you want? Michael took a deep breath. I want you. I want this. I want to keep building a life with you. I want to wake up next to you. I want to grow old with you. Grace's eyes filled with tears. But, Michael continued, I also want to make sure I'm doing this for the right reasons. Not because I'm afraid of being alone. Not because I'm trying to replace what I had with Sarah. But because I genuinely love you and want to build something new with you. And do you love me for the right reasons? Yes, I do. Grace smiled. Then yes. Yes what? Yes, I want the same things you want. Yes, I want to build a life with you. And yes, when you're ready to actually ask me the question you're dancing around, my answer will be yes. Michael laughed. I'm not dancing around a question. You absolutely are. Maybe I am. They sat there by the creek, holding hands. watching the water flow. I want to do this right, Michael said. I want Emma and David to be part of it. I want Sarah to be okay with it. I want to make sure everyone's ready. That's very thoughtful. Is that okay? That I want to wait a little longer? Grace kissed him softly. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. In June, Michael invited Emma and David over for a serious conversation. They sat in the living room. The windows open, the breeze bringing in the smell of roses from the garden. I need to talk to you both about something, Michael said. Emma and David exchanged glances. Are you dying? David asked. What? No. Are you moving? Emma asked. No. Then what? David said. Michael took a deep breath. I want to ask Grace to marry me, but I wanted to talk to you both first, to make sure you're okay with it. Silence. Then Emma burst into tears. Michael said, alarmed. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, she said, laughing through the tears. I'm just happy. I'm so happy for you, Dad. So you're okay with it? Are you kidding? Grace is amazing. We love her. Michael looked at David. What about you, buddy? David shrugged. Yeah, she's cool. She makes you happy. That's all that matters. It's not going to change anything with you guys and your mom, Michael said. You're still my kids. She's still your mom. Grace is just someone else who loves you. If that's okay. It's more than okay, Emma said. David nodded. Yeah, it's good. Michael felt relief wash over him. Thank you. That means everything to me. When are you going to ask her? Emma asked. I don't know yet. Soon. How are you going to do it? Michael smiled. I have an idea. The next day, Michael went to see Sarah. She lived in an apartment across town now. Small but nice. She'd invited him in when he called. They sat in her living room. Coffee on the table between them. Thanks for seeing me, Michael said. Of course. What's going on? I wanted to talk to you about Grace. Sarah nodded slowly. Okay. I'm going to ask her to marry me. And I wanted you to know. I wanted to make sure you're okay with it. For the kids' sake. Sarah was quiet for a long moment. Then she smiled. A genuine smile. I'm happy for you, Michael. Really? Are you sure? Yes. I've been seeing someone too. You know that. And I'm happy. And I want you to be happy. Thank you. Grace is a good person, Sarah said. I can see that. And the kids love her. That's what matters. Michael felt something release in his chest. Permission he didn't know he needed. I'm sorry, he said. For everything. For not being the husband you needed. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry too. For not being patient enough. For leaving the way I did. We both did the best we could. Yeah, we did. They sat there. Two people who had loved each other once. Who had built a life. Who had failed. But who were finding their way to forgiveness. Can I give you some advice? Sarah asked. Sure. Don't make the same mistakes with Grace that you made with me. Don't shut her out. Don't disappear into yourself. Keep talking. Keep showing up. I won't. I promise. Sarah stood up. Hugged him. Good luck, Michael. You deserve this. So do you. Michael spent 2 weeks planning. He wanted it to be special. Meaningful. Something Grace would remember. He enlisted Emma and David's help. They were more excited than he was. We should decorate the garden, Emma said. With lights and flowers. And candles, David added. Girls like candles, right? Michael laughed. Yeah, buddy. Girls like candles. They work together. String lights through the trees. Candles along the pathways. Fresh flowers in the fountain. Michael cleaned his grandmother's ring. A simple gold band with a small diamond. His grandfather had given it to his grandmother when they got married. She'd left it to Michael with a note. Give this to someone who makes you feel the way your grandfather made me feel. Someone who sees you. Someone who chooses you every single day. Grace was that person. On a Saturday evening in late June, Michael invited Grace over for dinner. Just dinner, he said. Nothing fancy. Grace arrived at 7. She wore a yellow sundress. Her hair down. Beautiful. Hi, she said. Hi. Michael took her hand. I want to show you something. He led her through the house and out to the back garden. Grace gasped. The garden was transformed. Lights twinkling in the trees. Candles glowing along the paths. The fountain running. Music playing softly. Michael, she whispered. What is all this? It's for you. He led her to the fountain, where they'd sat so many times, where they'd talked and laughed and fallen in love. Emma and David were standing by the back porch, watching, smiling. Michael turned to Grace, took both her hands. Grace, a year ago I came to this house broken, lost. I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know if I could ever be whole again. Grace's eyes were filling with tears. But you were patient with me, Michael continued. You saw me at my worst, and you didn't turn away. You showed me what it means to be loved. Really loved. Not in spite of my flaws, but including them. Michael, let me finish, he said, smiling. My grandmother used to say that life gives us people when we need them, and that sometimes the family we choose is just as important as the family we're born into. You're the family I choose, Grace. Every day. Every moment. He knelt down on one knee. Grace put her hand over her mouth. Michael pulled out the ring. This was my grandmother's. She wanted me to give it to someone who makes me feel alive. Someone who chooses me. Someone I want to build a life with. Grace, will you marry me? Grace was crying. Fully crying. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Michael stood up and slipped the ring on her finger. Then he kissed her. Emma and David cheered from the porch. Grace laughed through her tears. Did you plan this with them? They helped. Come here, you too, Grace called. Emma and David ran over. Grace hugged them both. Thank you for sharing your dad with me, she said. I promise I'll take good care of him. We know, Emma said. They stood there in the garden. The four of them. Under the lights and the stars. A new family forming. The wedding was small. Just family and close friends. In the back garden of the house. Where Michael had proposed. Where his grandmother had planted her first rose bush. Where everything had changed. It was a September afternoon. The leaves just starting to turn. The air cool and crisp. Emma and David stood up with Michael. Grace's best friend stood up with her. Sarah came. She sat in the back. Smiled. Gave Michael a nod. The ceremony was simple. Honest. They wrote their own vows. Michael went first. Grace, I promise to show up. Every day. To be present. To listen. To see you. I promise to work on myself, so I can be the partner you deserve. I promise to choose you. Every morning. Every night. For all the mornings and nights we have left. Grace wiped her eyes. Then she spoke. Michael, I promise to be patient. To give you space when you need it. To pull you close when you need that instead. I promise to love all of you. The strong parts and the scared parts. The joyful parts and the hurting parts. I promise to build a life with you. A life full of quiet moments and big adventures. A life full of love. They exchanged rings. The officiant pronounced them husband and wife. They kissed as the small gathering applauded. And Michael felt his grandmother's presence. Like she was there. Smiling. Saying I told you so. After the ceremony, they had a simple reception. Food. Dancing. Laughter. Emma danced with Michael. I'm proud of you, Dad. Thank you, sweetheart. For everything. For believing in me. Always. David danced with Grace. You're officially stuck with us now. Grace laughed. I wouldn't have it any other way. Sarah came up to Michael later in the evening. Congratulations, she said. Thank you. For coming. It means a lot. She's good for you. You look happy. I am. Sarah smiled. Good. That's all I ever wanted. For you to be happy. You too. She hugged him. A brief, gentle hug. Then she left. As the sun set, Michael and Grace stood in the center of the garden. Their garden now. Dancing slowly to music only they could hear. Are you happy? Grace asked. Happier than I've been in years. Me too. Thank you, Michael said. For what? For waiting. For choosing me. For loving me when I didn't know how to love myself. Grace leaned her head on his chest. Thank you for letting me in. They danced. The lights twinkling above them. Their family and friends watching. The house standing strong behind them. Home. That night, after all the guests had left, after Emma and David had gone back to Sarah's, after Grace had fallen asleep beside him, Michael got up. He went downstairs to the kitchen, made tea, sat at the table with the journal Grace had given him for Christmas. He opened it to the second page. The first entry he would write. Dear Grandma Lily, I married Grace today. In your garden. I wore Grandpa's watch. Grace wore your ring. It felt like you were there. Like you'd planned the whole thing. Maybe you did. I understand now what you were trying to tell me with those letters. With this house. It's never too late to choose love. It's never too late to come home to yourself. I was lost for a long time. After Afghanistan. After my marriage fell apart. I thought I was broken beyond repair. I thought I'd used up all my chances. But you knew better. You knew I just needed time. Space. A place to remember who I was before everything got so complicated. This house gave me that. And Grace gave me the courage to start over. I'm not perfect. I still have hard days. Days when the darkness creeps back in. But now I know I don't have to face it alone. Now I know that asking for help isn't weakness. It's strength. Thank you for the house. For the letters. For the journal. For Grace. For everything. I miss you. But I'm okay now. Better than okay. I'm home. Love. Michael. He closed the journal. Sat there in the quiet. The house settling around him. Then he went back upstairs. Climbed into bed beside his wife. Grace stirred. You okay? Yeah. I'm perfect. She smiled sleepily and curled into him. Michael lay there in the darkness. Listening to Grace breathe. Feeling grateful. For second chances. For patience. For love that waited. For God's plan. A year after the wedding, Michael and Grace sat on the porch. It was evening. The garden was in full bloom. Emma and David were inside making dinner. They came every Sunday now. A tradition they'd all agreed on. Can you believe it's been a year? Grace asked. Feels like yesterday. Feels like forever. Both at the same time. Grace laughed. I know what you mean. Are you happy? Michael asked. Really happy? Incredibly happy. Are you? More than I ever thought possible. They sat in comfortable silence, rocking gently in the old chairs. I got a letter today, Grace said. From the Seattle company. They're opening a new position. Asked if I wanted to reconsider. Michael's heart skipped. What did you say? I said no. I'm exactly where I want to be. Michael smiled, reached over and took her hand. Emma came out onto the porch. Dinner's almost ready. David burned the garlic bread, but everything else looks good. I did not burn it, David called from inside. It's just extra crispy. They all laughed. Come on, Emma said. Let's eat before he burns anything else. They went inside. The four of them. Around the old dining table. Passing food. Talking. Laughing. After dinner, David asked, Dad, can we go fishing tomorrow morning? You want to wake up that early? Yeah. I like it. The quiet. Then absolutely. Emma was looking at photos on her phone. Hey Dad, look at this. Remember when we first found Grandma's letters? She showed him the photo. The two of them sitting in the garden. Dirt on their clothes. Smiling. That was a good day, Michael said. That was the day everything started to change, Emma said. The day you started coming back to us. Michael felt his throat tighten. I'm proud of you, Emma continued. I know I say it a lot, but I am. You did the work. You faced everything. You got better. We all did the work, Michael said. All of us together. Grace squeezed his hand under the table. Later, after the kids had gone home, Michael and Grace walked out to the garden. The fireflies were out, dancing in the darkness. The fountain was running. The smell of roses and earth in summer. They sat on the bench. Their bench. Do you ever think about what would have happened if you hadn't come here? Grace asked. If you hadn't inherited the house? Michael thought about it. I don't know. I think I would have kept running. Kept hiding. Maybe I would have found my way eventually. But maybe not. Your grandmother knew. Yeah, she did. She gave you a gift. Not just the house, but the chance to start over. She gave me more than that. She gave me you. Grace smiled. I like to think we found each other. Maybe. But I think she helped. They sat there under the stars. Two people who had been lost. Who had found their way home. To themselves. To each other. To this place. Michael, Grace said. Yeah, thank you. For what? For taking a chance on me. On us. For not giving up. Thank you for waiting. She leaned her head on his shoulder. I'd wait 1,000 years if I had to. Good thing you didn't have to. They laughed. Soft and comfortable. The house stood behind them. Solid. Strong. Full of memory and new life. The garden grew around them. Beautiful and wild. And somewhere Michael imagined his grandmother smiling. Knowing her plan had worked. 5 years later, Michael was cleaning out the attic. Grace was pregnant. 7 months. They were making room for the nursery. Michael found a box he'd never seen before. Hidden behind the old furniture. Dusty. Forgotten. Inside were more letters. And another journal. And a sealed envelope with his name on it. He sat down on the attic floor. Opened the envelope. My dearest Michael, if you're reading this, it means you found the second box. Good for you. I knew you'd keep looking. I hope by now you've married Grace. I hope you're happy. I hope you've forgiven yourself for all the things you think you did wrong. I want to tell you something I never told you when I was alive. When your grandfather came back to me after those 6 years apart, I was scared. Scared I'd hurt him again. Scared I wasn't enough. Scared I'd already wasted our chance. But he told me something I never forgot. He said, love isn't about perfect timing. It's about perfect choice. And I choose you. Every version of you. Past. Present. future. All of it. That's what real love is, Michael. It's choosing someone. Over and over. Even when it's hard. Even when you're scared. Even when you don't know if it'll work out. I chose your grandfather every day for 56 years. And he chose me. And that made all the difference. Choose grace. Choose your children. Choose yourself. Choose love. That's all I have to say. That's all there ever is to say. Live well, my sweet boy. Live fully. Live without regret. I love you always. Grandma Lily. Michael sat there in the attic, tears streaming down his face. Grace found him there an hour later. Michael, are you okay? He looked up at her. This woman he loved. This woman who was carrying his child. This woman who had saved him in ways she would never fully understand. I'm perfect, he said. He showed her the letter. She read it. Cried. Then she sat down beside him. Put his hand on her belly. Feel that. The baby kicked. Michael laughed. Strong kid. Takes after their dad. They sat there in the attic, surrounded by the past, building the future. And Michael knew, without a doubt, he was exactly where he was supposed to be. Sometimes we lose ourselves. Sometimes we forget who we are. What matters? What love feels like. Sometimes we need a place to go back to. A home. A person. A memory. Sometimes we need to be reminded that it's never too late. Never too late to change. To heal. To choose love. Michael found his way back. To himself. To his children. To love. It wasn't easy. It wasn't fast. But it was worth it. Because in the end, all we have are the choices we make. The people we love. The moments we show up for. And that's enough. That's everything. God had a plan. The house. The letters. Grace. All of it. Not a plan that was easy. But a plan that was right. And Michael, standing in that attic with his pregnant wife beside him and his grandmother's words still echoing in his heart, understood something fundamental. We are never too broken to be made whole. We are never too lost to find our way home. We are never too late to choose love. The end. Thank you for listening to this story. If it touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, it's never too late to start over. It's never too late to come home to yourself. And it's never too late to choose love.